Jeremy had to make several attempts through the week to remind everybody, get your next notes in, get your next notes in. Even some of our veterans, it's the last day getting the next notes in. What I wanted them to understand about the whole process was that it's a planning process. It's not a last-minute process. That's what we've been doing for the last how many years, you know, planning at the last minute to be able to get our job done. I make the phone call, you show up, you do your work. Okay. First day, you know, the guys will show up, they don't have a drawing, they don't have the material, they don't have what they need to be able to do the job. This here's the program is to plan, pre-plan to eliminate a lot of those issues that we have. So. Third floor framing, our conditions of satisfaction. This is sent out with Jeremy as one of our milestones that this is what we would want our next notes to be. The process is everybody knows what the conditions of satisfaction. I'm going through a little review here, Ed. Then during the 2 weeks prior, in the next note on the internet, in the cloud, if you will, you put in your individual activities for your trade. It doesn't have a start date. It doesn't have an end date. You start with a verb, install. In the end, we get a Gantt chart, and I'm able to scan the Gantt chart in with knowing what the predecessors and successors are. We'll go through that little exercise here on the board. Gives me the information. I turn it into, in this case here, a P6 schedule. From the P6 schedule, when it comes time for us to work on that given area of the project, I will start up here with a commitment for 1 week.
But wouldn't Rudy go up there before? Wouldn't Rudy go up there before product and start snapping lines and stuff, Rick, or not?
There you go. Okay, Rudy, you got one up here? It says layout.
I don't think you got a layout.
You don't got one for layout. Okay, there you go. So what we do. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this should say.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, if you're missing one, if Ed doesn't have.
What should it say, Rudy?
We just fill one out.
Third floor layout. Just
Layout.
Got to snap some lines.
Layout. Snap lines.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. And here's.
How long is that going to take, Rudy?
It's right there. Okay? You guys have a say in this.
Those 2 rooms he wants to start with, 1 day.
Okay, so this is layout snap lines for
I have
rooms.
some input in here. I'm
Which rooms are, is it?
before you do
Where we
this.
starting, 309, 310?
Yeah, I thought since they got rid of that,
You're going to need another one of those layout snap lines for the other rooms?
Yeah.
Okay. Jonathan, what rooms will those be?
Let's do this here. Do this here because there's no order in here. Okay, so if you were to go, let's put these back. I'm just going to kind of simplify this if I can for you so that we don't need to put a lot of additional thought. And the first activity that Rudy would do would be layout.
there's only 4 units on the 3rd floor, right? So I
Yeah.
thought the numbers were 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I could be wrong with the
No,
numbers.
you're probably right. I'm wrong.
So everything that's going on this room is going to keep going this way.
What we'll do here is we're gonna make connections to these with the dry eraser, okay, and point out where we're going next with the project. When,
Schedule who would normally make those charts using our input.
section in there for framing that drops off, it's lighting, all that. You guys come in, I would give them that amount of time, is our contractual site. You guys come in, the foreman, get it done, that interaction with the foreman, how I can do that best. That's the pre-plan. It holds true, we make that commitment. For that week, for that pre-planning session, we have all of our next notes up here.
Just to clarify, you ask if this process takes the place of that. It doesn't. You still need to do that to plan the whole project, okay? So what we're doing here is Rick owns the milestones. Superintendent owns the milestones. He wants you guys to own the details to reach those milestones. So the milestone we're working on today is third floor framing complete. Okay? So he wants you to co-create that schedule. He wants your best ideas as opposed to his best ideas, right?
Right. In the past, I sit at the table, at the end of the table, and I have my foremen in the room. They're all gathered around, and I have my schedule, and I say, okay, you know, here's where we're going. Some superintendents are different. You have your schedule, we do the talk. The guys are kind of like half asleep, half not asleep. They're not talking to each other. If there's something to be said, they'll look right at me. And they'll ask me when that other foreman that they need to work with, okay, coordinate with, is across the table. Come to the table, bring your best ideas as foreman. For me, okay, my job is to sit on my hands, okay. I have my milestones picked out that I want to meet. My goals, our goals as a team for the project, sit on my hands and let the foreman guide them, let the foreman build the job. Okay? Because there's ideas in here that there's going to be missing links. And, you know, the first one that came up here this morning was layout. You know, I said, here, I'm going to put the plywood floor on, and was it you, Cooney? Yeah. Cooney comes up and says, well, and then the next idea is we got to put the walls up. So, no, we got to do some layout. I got to have an electrical foreman tell me I need to do my layout. Well, good. You guys are the tradesmen. You're the professional for each individual trade that you have here.
And notice they did the first floor a little different. They threw up the non-bearing before the joists.
Yes.
I want to do that a little different because it's easier for us just to move around and throw everything up rather than having a bunch of stuff in your way. You know?
Okay. Okay, so you guys, you see that he's going up with his non-military wall. The idea.
Rudy, that's just exactly why we're here. We want to hear those better ideas. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Since we've got some new guys here, if I can make one more point. Rick is not here to take all of the contingency out of your tasks. We know there's contingency in those tasks, right? You guys know that there's contingency in his milestones. So let's not lie to each other, right? So he's not going to push you to say, okay, that's a 1 day, but I think you can do it in a half a day, right? You need to put the contingency in there, right, which is waste, and then we're going to work together to try to take that contingency out, okay? So be as truthful as you can with the contingency. Don't say it's going to take 2 days if you really think it's going to take 1. Is that fair? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But where it shows up, for me as the superintendent, is when we take all your activities, we have all those days. I have a start point, I have a milestone. We put in all your activities, all your durations, your days in there. So, say I'm between here and here, this is how many ever days. If I'm back here in the middle someplace, it's good. We've all, we're going to make a charge at that floor to be able to do that. On the other hand, if I'm over here, because everybody's got so much contingency in there, we're going to have some discussions to say, guys, we got to be able to tighten this up a little bit on the third floor. Superintendent's meeting Monday morning, we have that discussion where I can say here, who can do a little bit better based on what we've done so far. Okay, so because if something's supposed to take us a month and we're hanging out there a month and a half, we can't do that. Continue to do that. We have to find better ways. If it's reality, well then there's down the road as part of the planning process, maybe there's other areas that we can, maintain our master schedule, our contractual dates to deal. What we can do now is Coney.
Or Danny
Danny
probably gets in there.
Danny works a little better
What are we
first.
gonna, when you do those, the non-bearing, is it gonna be just a couple days after the?
You should, I would like to just throw in those joists and then a
Works in the
non-bearing.
non-bearing, so it's kinda.
When I throw the joists up, the non-bearing should start going in like right after that, probably at the same
I mean, it's
day.
not, because as it is now, a lot of those non-bearing, I can't even work in because they're just.
Yeah, that would be like on the second floor. Some things we could think about.
I know, I mean, however he wants to do it, I don't care,
Right.
I can't just go into a room and knock it out, I'm gonna have to kind of jump all over.
Yeah. So I guess until we get the
I mean,
in this
like I
case,
said,
it's
I'm
real
kind of doing
good
it now,
trusses,
because some of those
not
walls are,
joists.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of doing it, because some of them are just laying there, and I can't let put anything in there because they're not plumb, or.
Okay. So that's something, Rudy, as you're moving along, you understand
Like I
the
said, I mean,
plumber.
I'm never not working, but I'm not jumping around like, the way we're detailing these things out, I'm not doing them anywhere close to what we're putting them.
No, no, and the part of that is, you're not on critical path. It'd be nice to get the framing.
No, like we talked about in the original
we go
meeting, we have this room, we're gonna knock this room out, we're going there.
Right.
It hasn't been anywhere close.
Right, we haven't been able to get past that being able to finish the first 2 rooms.
This is
4 rooms, 100%.
this is the ideal. We recognize that
No,
it's
I
the
know. Like I
ideal.
said, I'm
Yeah.
never, not just going, I can't do this room, I'm going home.
But no, you're not. Yeah, you're going to go work on where you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So we understand what we're trying to do here is to create the ideal situation by having these kinds of discussions. Okay, and then we work toward that ideal, but we also recognize crap's going to happen.
Oh, no, I know.
Right. But, and here, we put up on the board here what we need to do and take care of in these tasks. And Danny, as a plumber, you're going in here and saying, yeah, I can do a lot, but you know what, I really can't finish until you're 100%. Rudy over here, if everybody's listening, picks up, you know what, I really can get those 2 extra plumbing walls in there at the same time for Danny, because that makes a difference in the plumbing world. Okay? That helps them. If we can create those efficiencies.